This is the War Room with PMAC, presented by Chiefs Focus. On this show, PMAC and you provide you front office insight into crafting a championship caliber team for the Chiefs. They are identifying the right pieces to possibly meld together to lead to success this upcoming season.
What it do? This is the War Room with PMAC. It is good to have everybody here. My name is you. That is PMAC. What it do, man?
What is good, man? How you doing, bro? I'm good to be back. I just got back from Colorado. Shout out to my guy Brad Lindenkamp, my fellow self-advocate with the Self-Advocate Coalition in Kansas, and also the Kansas University on a Center on Developmental Disabilities. This wasn't a business trip, but and also shout out to his nephew Ben Lindenkamp, who just recently graduated from University of Colorado in Boulder, and I was able to drive Brad out there last week, which was amazing, and got to see the Rocky Mountains up close and personal, and didn't run into Deion Sanders or Shiloh or Schroeder or anybody else like that, or Travis Hunter, but it was a great experience, and I'm glad to be back here to be here with you guys. Thank you all for joining us today on another episode of the War Room with PMAC, presented by Chiefs Focus. We are in the OTA camp phase now, preparing for this upcoming year, and Thiz and I have provided you, the viewers, with front office insights into what the Chiefs needed this offseason. They've gone and gotten those players. There still might be some needs out there, maybe, but I feel like what's going on right now, that roster is really together, and Brett Veach has a competitive roster going into camp, and we have been highlighting what we need in the right pieces to lead to success, and the ultimate goal is to become the first team to ever achieve a three-peat. So, man, how you doing, Thiz, man? It's good to see you again, bro.
It's good to see you, brother. It's been going good, man. It's a thing, but we working through it. So, look, we understand that the season's over, draft season's over, but that doesn't mean content doesn't stop.
Nope.
What we will do, we will be taking a break here soon, but we still will be bringing we will be bringing some things still for this summer. Look forward to it, and we'll see what the Chiefs can do with a three-peat, because the three-peat's going to be the first ever in history to do it. Tom Brady couldn't do it. So let's talk about that for a second. Because I don't know if we've ever talked about the concept of what a three-peat means to this franchise. I don't think we've ever talked about it, or what a three-peat means to the NFL in general. Now, I know I'm throwing you off there. I'm sorry about that. I know we didn't talking about that, but I think it's important to understand that for us to understand that a three-peat has never happened. Like, the Steelers didn't do it. They got 6 championships. The Patriots didn't do it. They got 6 championships. The Cowboys, America's team, didn't do it. They weren't able to. I'm trying to think of who broke their cycle, because it wasn't the Bills. Because we know what Bills stands for. Boy, I love losing Super Bowls. We know. So having a three-peat will be the first time in history. And being able to get that done would be a feat that will live in infamy. Like I said, Tom Brady didn't do it. And we already know people are going to classify Patrick Mahomes in the GOAT category. They're already doing it. Whether he gets to 7 or passes Tom Brady. If he passes Tom Brady, then it's over. They will be calling him the GOAT. But what was I saying? If he's able to pull off a three-peat, I think you have a legitimate GOAT conversation, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. 100% agree, man. I mean, he's already in that category already in the short time of what he's done in the NFL. And I feel like with that three-peat, it will solidify his status as one of the GOATs at the quarterback position and overall as a player in NFL history, and he's still not done yet. And I really personally believe that I heard a comment from Patrick early this past offseason where he said that he plans on retiring at a certain point in his career where he doesn't want to miss time with his kids. And some in me said that he's probably going to play out that contract and probably not going to take an extension. Say, you know, in this what I got in this contract left, this $500 million contract, I'm going to play it out until it's over because I got those years. But we never know, man. But he might get extended down the road if he still wants to continue. If Brittany's okay with that, but I understand that as a man that you don't want to have the same issues that you've seen in your past, especially with your mom and your dad. And you know, that's one of the things that makes Pat extraordinary as a human being. And we're gonna get into it later about, especially with certain things that has happened with this team. And you know, he's the leader of this team, especially what's been going on this entire summer. And you know, that's what it speaks about a leader. You know, how do you handle all that stuff, especially in the midst of all that? And you're still seeing him throw the deep ball recently to Hollywood Brown in one of the first 2-3 days of OTAs, and you know he still got that focus. So man, he's gonna get that status, man. I already see it, and it's not even a question to me personally because I saw that in 2018 when he threw that ball to Tyreek Hill against the Ravens, 4th and 9. That was the moment I said we got the Michael Jordan of the NFL, and not just the ability, but Michael was smart as well too. He knew how to outsmart his opponents, and that's what I've seen in Mahomes. And it's one of those rare opportunities to say enjoy it, man, and just you know we got to give him that grace, and you know leaving it in his hands along with working with Andy Reid, and also in hopes that he'll take it to the next step, and keep himself healthy going down the road because we need him. You know,
I'm mortified that you said what you said, but you are not incorrect. You are not incorrect. He is one that prioritizes his family, which is cool. Because I understand it. Being a father myself, I definitely understand why he wants to be able to, play with his kids. He's got two. He's got Bronze, and he's got
Sterling.
Yeah, Sterling. So it's like you got to be able to be there for your kids. Be able to watch them grow, and being able to, and having the football in your life really kind of takes away from that. But the three-peat would definitely mean that he is the GOAT in my opinion. But anyway, as we move forward, as we continue this our conversation today, let's go into That's News to Me.
Let's do it.
That's news to me. That's news to me.
That's news to me.
So we got a little news, and for some reason the Chiefs like to stay in the news in 2024. The Chiefs are staying in the news for all the wrong reasons. And the thing about it is, we'll talk about the effects of that later. But which one do you want to talk about first, man?
All right. Let me just say it like this. This special Red Friday news to me segment is almost like a PR nightmare for the Chiefs PR team, because this has been ridiculous. As you said, it's like we want to stay in the news for the wrong reasons. And I will begin with one of the first ones that before I went on my trip to Colorado that I wanted to talk about, and it happened the week before I left, and it was happening on a Monday with the same player that had a situation in the same city just a month prior, and that is none other than Rashee Rice, because at the time it looked like his situation was increasing, because at the time, by the same station that reported his crash, WFAA, Rice was being investigated for allegedly assaulting a photographer at a nightclub in Dallas about 2 weeks ago, and it's been proven that it was just a verbal altercation, not a physical altercation. But they said that the police responded to a 2:30 a.m. call on that early Monday morning, and the victim reported the assault. Like somebody said that he texted him and he came back and whatever. But the nightclub owner even said that he never saw any of that. And just recently, this past week, he got cleared from that situation. But this is all in regard to the same situation where early in March, he was charged with an 8-count felony after that high-speed multi-car crash on the Dallas Expressway. And Commissioner Roger Goodell and Andy Reid said that they will wait out the judicial process to conclude before making like further comments or decisions in regards to the NFL's personal conduct policy. And Rice could still face his suspension, but now we've seen that he stayed clear, and let's hope he stays that way, and hopefully he stays out of Dallas because, man, it's just been a crazy offseason for one of our top 2 wide receivers on the team, and he just needs to just stay out, man, and just get the counseling you need, especially to keep your head above water, man. So what's your thoughts about this?
It's a situation where you don't you don't realize how bad it is until you sit down to think about it.
Yeah.
But when you're in it, you don't want to think about it because you're going through it, right?
Yeah.
And so, not sitting down and thinking about it could make the situation worse. Going to that nightclub did not help anything. Okay. With him, it's kind of at the point where don't make a bad situation worse. Make better decisions.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just better to get in the playbook. All the extracurriculars, get rid of them. Time to get back in the playbook. And, you hate to see a young man go through this, but young men have to live their life as much as we want to live it for them, and as much as you want things to move smoothly. Everybody's got to go through something. If you don't go through nothing, then you won't be able to have any experiences and be able to tell the next generation to look out for this, and this. He will learn from this. Hopefully he will grow from this, but that remains to be seen. That's up to him, completely up to him. And I'm hoping he will learn. He's looking like he's down in Texas, or he's here now, but looks like he's got his nose to the grindstone right now, and that's what we need.
Yeah, man, because that's the thing. Like, the team now may face challenges because, of their lineup now due to this possible suspension of him, man. And I still feel like this is a really good receiver group that we still got. But, you've been seeing fans on X been clamoring for the Chiefs to add a veteran wide receiver even before training camp. And there are still options out there. Yeah, Hunter Renfrow, Michael Thomas from the Saints, Marquise Goodwin, Sterling Shepard, even McCole Hardman. But I mean, at the same time, you still got guys who know this playbook, who's been with this team for a long time, and especially guys who are getting acclimated, Marquise Brown, and even though Louis Rees-Zammit, who was listed as running back, he's still taking plays as a wide receiver too, because he's going to do a little bit of everything. So I mean, you're going to trust those guys, and it's going to be part of a concept that I'm going to talk about later on in the show, and it has to do with the movie Moneyball, because I mean, man, we can't just be always about buying the player, bro, because that's not how you're going to win. The whole ultimate goal, just like the aspect from the movie, as Jonah Hill said as his character, people misjudge the concept of what's going on. Everybody thinks about buying the players, that buying the players are going to, the name of the player is going to make a difference, but it's really buying wins. Buying wins is, working with the player as well, not just buying a certain player like you saw in the movie, who's going to make up for like missing snaps or something like that. But you're going to work with those players, tell them like you see later in the movie, where if you ever watch it, that Billy Beane and his assistant general manager, played by Jonah Hill, Brad Pitt played Billy Beane, by the way, if anybody haven't seen that movie. But anyway, you are working with the player, and it's the next man up mentality. That's basically what they're doing. And you got the coaches there who are doing the same thing with those players and those receivers. So at the same time, man, yeah, I just feel it feels unfortunate, but happy that he's cleared that charge. He just needs to focus on this other one. And recently Cam Newton said what he said. It was like Cam Newton's sentiments were my sentiments exactly about Rasheed. So
What were Cam Newton's sentiments?
He's like, bro, you got Patrick Mahomes. You're in the best position right now. You basically you're blowing it, dude. Like,
Oh, yeah.
chill, calm down. Like, he's basically saying, if I was your quarterback, I'll be on your behind right now, bro.
Yeah,
And
basically.
yeah,
And Pat ain't that type of dude like that, but you take him to that point, he can be. But other than that, Rashid, man, like I said, it just seems like we can't stay out of the news because Rashid is one. Who's number two?
hmm
Who's number two as far as the next situation that we've dealt with this offseason?
I really think it's gonna be Hollywood Brown, and then you could throw in Justin Watson as number 3, but really number 4 because I think Worthy's going to have more opportunities, especially in the limited opportunity. I think he might play like at least less than 500. If he plays over 500, that's still great, and I still think he will make a very good impact. And I'll explain that later. But I look at Worthy. I'm expecting Kadarius Toney not to have a big year in terms of stats, but more like making serious impact. But then there's been a lot of stuff about him not appearing at OTAs. But Chris Jones, I don't know if he's there, but this is
He's
like
not.
that. It's not okay. So it's involuntary where it's like you don't have to. You can volunteer if you want to. Is I guess being Chris Jones being Chris Jones, or maybe Kadarius in the same manner because he's worked out with Mahomes down in Dallas. Maybe they're turning off in their own way that it's going to help them out, especially as individuals to contribute to the team. So, so I'll move on to the next other part I want to talk about in this news
Let's
to me
go.
segment. Right after this, it's almost like these guys were in the locker room saying, "Hey, let's take a bet so we can take the heat off of Rashid, guys." And maybe I'm just joking, this is satire, but man, so right after that past week, while I was in Colorado, I saw that Harrison Butker was the guest speaker at Benedictine College. Because it was also the week of the commencement ceremonies throughout the country, and he addressed the graduating class and made some controversial comments, basically in a way almost making it sound like, and I'm not trying to. This is not what the words he said, but it was almost like what people interpreted, especially a lot of women out here. They believe that he was basically saying that they're better off in the kitchen, and he's speaking about his experience, but a lot of people took that the wrong way, and it's not been a good look for the Chiefs. And this just, I believe, 2 days ago, Mahomes addressed those comments, and I think it was yesterday he addressed those comments. He basically stated, "I don't necessarily agree with Bucker's comments, but I'd still choose to judge him based off of the character he shows every day." Basically saying, I'm still defending him because he's my teammate, and we never really had any controversial things, but I don't agree with those comments. And that was, to me, Patrick being a leader in that moment. But I feel like this Bucker thing is because I've had people come to me and say, like, man, if this keeps going on, they should release him and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't know, they're gonna release him. And I don't agree with some of the stuff he said. I mean, but I defend a person's right that they have a right to their opinion. But at the same time, it's like you gotta understand what you're getting yourself into. Especially now with the media being involved with this. That's why I like what Patrick did, because he still chose the high road as a leader. Where if he went out and said, man, F Bucker for those comments, I mean, he will win over those fans who are angry at Bucker. Well, what does that do for his image within the NFL? And that's what people have to understand, that he's still being a leader. Whereas, like, I could still say I disagree with those comments, but I still defend him because he's my teammate. And I feel like Pat did the right thing there. So, what's your thoughts about that? What Bucker said, and also the way Mahomes still handled himself in that conference? Because I feel like Mahomes is on the mindset where it's like we're trying to three-peat, and we can't keep letting things trying to get to us. And I'm gonna answer these the best that I can. So, what you think?
We got one more of these segments. We got one more thing that happened while we were gone, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk about that, and I'll bring up what I was gonna bring up here then. But we gotta realize, as much as the internet has made the world a smaller place, that's one of the things that I marvel at all the time. The internet has made the world a smaller place, and there's so many things. I see memes about different things that I went through, like making cinnamon toast bread or whatever. And I'm like, hold on, y'all did that too? I'm surprised. I thought I was the only one did that. And you think there's times that you're the only one that did something because you're the only one that ever talked about it. But then you see these memes that people post and like, oh, it's almost like we live the same life. It's almost like we live the same life. But there's differences too. Just as much as you find similarities, you're gonna find differences. And as much as you want to think that everybody is basically the same, everybody grew up differently. Everybody grew up, whether rich, whether poor, whether whether your father, mother was there, wasn't there, everybody grew up differently. As much as there is to as much as there are similarities, there are differences as well. So it forms our opinions on things. All of that forms our personalities, our opinions. And while there are similarities on a lot of things, there are differences as well. And everybody doesn't have to agree with what we say on this show. Everybody
Right.
does not have to agree with what's being said on the 4-letter network or the 3-letter network about sports opinions, because that's what they are, opinions, and everybody has one. So, sports opinions, personal opinions, whatever. You can agree, you can disagree. That's the beauty of America, really, is that you have the right to have an opinion. I mean, and you also have a right to not retaliate. What's the word I'm looking for? That you have a right to respond to other people's opinions. And that's
Yeah.
what we're seeing all over the place. And Patrick Mahomes just said, he chooses to judge his teammate off of what he's known for the past, what is it, 5 years?
7 seasons.
7 seasons. Whew. So he chooses to judge him off of that. And while they
Yeah.
might not disagree on one thing, that doesn't mean anything about who he is as a person or what Patrick Mahomes has experienced on the field. On the field, off the field, so forth and so on. So, it is what it is. And I have something else to say about all this offseason situation, but I'll talk about it with this next one. So what's
Yeah,
the next
man. And right after that, it was like, why are y'all taking secret bets? Like, hey, Bucker, watch this one. Hey, wait. Oh no, we
Hold
got
my
something
beer.
for you. Hold my beer. I got something for you with this one. Offensive tackles Wanye Morris, who's the incumbent left tackle coming into camp, and maybe after this, you might have kissed that chance goodbye. And Kingsley Sumiata is somewhere like, I got you, Mahomes. I got you, homie. So Wanye Morris and also Jason Godric were arrested for a misdemeanor marijuana possession charge in Kansas. They were released on the next day after that. Morris is 23 and was the 3rd round pick in last year's draft, played 14 games as a rookie, started 4 at left tackle, and Godric, who is 23 as well, is entering his 2nd season after spending his rookie year with the Chiefs on the practice squad through the International Pathway Program, the same program that Louis Rees Emmett is going through with the Chiefs, this transition from rugby to football. But
Let's make this clear. Let's make this clear. When he says Wanye Morris was released, he wasn't released from the team. He was released
on bond.
Yeah,
He was released on bond.
Let's make sure we
Right.
clarify that.
They were released on bond. Sorry, people. They were released on bond the very next day after they both were arrested. I didn't mean they were released by the team, but this is just not a good look. Right after you had Rashee Rice, Bucker, and now you can add the offensive tackles with Wanye Morris and Godric, and it's just like, wow, what are we doing, guys? I just need to know. What are we doing?
For those two, man, I just don't understand if you I get it. Don't get me wrong. I don't partake in those activities in any shape, form, or fashion. However, I understand that people do. No judgment here. Don't care. Don't know. Don't care. Please, people, I don't care. However,
However,
you were in Kansas and got caught. Missouri's right over there. Missouri's right next door.
yes,
You could just either live in Missouri. I understand if you don't want to, that is your preference. It is what it is. But you could partake of those activities on that side of on this side of the street, as opposed to on that side of the street where it's illegal. It's illegal. And now you got to pay unnecessary fines, not unnecessary fines, but you got to pay stuff. You got to pay all this unnecessary stuff that you shouldn't have had to do because it's legal literally across the border.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't understand it. And especially if you're vying for a job, if you're trying to go get a job, you're currently on the team. You got a job.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to get the starting position, I would think you want to keep your nose clean.
Especially one of the three most important positions in all of football. The three most important positions of all of football: the quarterback, the designated pass rusher, number one, and the left tackle.
And the person that's protecting against that designated pass rusher.
Pass rusher, yes. So you were in the prime position. You had the driver's seat, even when you got Sumiata coming behind you. He's already right tackle number two, but also left tackle number two, but probably number one now because he's confident coming into the season. And that might just push Wanye as the main swing tackle, which is, hey, man.
He might be for those that don't know what a swing tackle is, I'm not trying to mansplain. I'm sorry if I am, but he might be that new Allegretti situation. He might be the next guy to play whatever, as opposed to having or Andrew Wiley. Like he might be the next guy that has that is, as opposed to having that one position to play full time. He might be called upon to do whatever, whenever on that offensive line, which, as it's a great job because you got a job, right? But you want to have a set position. That way, you got guys that you come into work, you know what you're doing on the day. You know what you're doing. So you also get paid for being the guy that you are, as far as a left tackle, which is probably the highest paid on the offensive line, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, left tackle is the highest paid on that offensive line. Yeah, premium. And then so forth and so on. So I apologize if you think that's mansplaining. Didn't mean to. It is what it is. But one thing I noticed with this, I've been watching The Last Dance over again with that's ESPN's not Michael Jordan, the Bulls documentary that they had during the pandemic, right? And I just remember them talking about not the issue, but more of the situation they had to deal with when they brought in Rodman, the situations that they had to deal with when they brought in Kukoc, the situations that they had to deal with Pippen, the situations that they had to deal with the GM, whose name is escaping me. Yeah, Jerry Krause. GM and owner
Swaghammer from Space Jam. You didn't know that's the character Swaghammer. Danny DeVito's character was really based off of Krause. It made sense to me. Wow.
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito's character.
Yeah. I forgot
he based him off of Jerry Krause.
The head alien was Danny DeVito. My bad. But but you look at those guys. You look at that situation and realize how much they kind of went through in the last 3 years. Probably for some of those guys the whole time. or most of the time, and then what they went through specifically that last season, bro.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It was a lot. And you got to realize, looking at the schedule, looking at the NFL schedule, what they gave the Chiefs,
Mhm.
it doesn't look bad until you look at that bye week. Ugh, that bye week is early. I think it's in week 6. Uh, that's early, especially for a team that's vying for a Super Bowl. And the schedule came out what 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think probably last week. Yeah, about 2 weeks ago.
So we talking about. I look back on those 2 weeks, 2 weeks ago, and I'm just like, man, this is horrible because we've always gotten our bye weeks, week 10, week 11, week 12. Uh, Now it's week 6, and I'm sitting here looking, and they're talking about, oh, they made it to where the Chiefs games are around Taylor Swift's tour, where she can attend if she'd like to. The first thing I thought was, bro, there has never been a three-peat in the history of the NFL.
Mhm.
What they're doing is not to tailor to do this for Taylor Swift. They're not doing this for them. They're just not doing the Chiefs any favors. That's what they're doing. The NFL
They're trying to
does
make it
not.
run.
Yeah, they don't want a three-peat. That's because the NFL is built on parity. The NFL is built on parity. The idea that anybody could win a championship any given year. And while that may be true, you get the first draft. If you're the worst team gets the best draft pick, so forth and so on, what have you.
Mhm.
The NFL is built on parity. And if you're built on parity, um, having guys win back to backs, having guys win 3 in a row is not the ideal situation. And the Chiefs are no different. They didn't want the Patriots to do it. They didn't want the Cowboys. They might have wanted the Cowboys because that was early on. I don't know. But
Mhm.
I noticed they didn't want the Patriots to win that third championship. They don't want the Chiefs to win this third championship. Maybe take a year off and then win another one, but 3 in a row does not spell parity. And so if I'm going to do that, if I'm doing that, do I think it's specifically geared towards making the Chiefs lose? No, I don't think that. But I do think that they had that in mind while making their schedule. I don't know what you think about that.
I mean, man, personally for me, I mean, the last team that they done something like this to was that Seattle Seahawks team in 2014. Because I remember I looked at their schedule; they had a week 4 bye week.
Yeah,
And
that
they
was
still made it all the way to the Super Bowl. It was that defense. They had beast mode.
horrible.
And when I look at that same thing with the Chiefs with the week 6 thing, I still see a 13-4 win
Oh,
team here with us and still going to the Super Bowl. You just got to be smart. We got to outsmart them. So how do we do that? I mean, yes, the deep ball is back, which is great, but I think at the same time we're going to trick teams and we're chess masters. Just like we got Pacheco. Like for example, I think Pacheco this year could finally get 1,000 yards rushing, being the Chiefs' first 1,000-yard rusher since Kareem Hunt in 2017. And I feel like when you get that going, and also you got the other guys around who you added on this roster, and also you got Pat's ability as a runner as well, and then also our defense. Our defense is coming into this year as the number one defense in football with the number one offense and the best player and the best coach. I mean, we're the best team, so I'm very looking forward to what we're about to do here. And despite that week 6 bye, I feel like Andy Reid has been in situations like this where he's had early bye weeks, but he's found ways to get stuff done, and we pushed all the way through. So it doesn't bother me none. And I feel like, yeah, the NFL, they've had enough of us. They're trying to throw the gauntlet at us, and it's like, all right, well, just bring it. Like The Rock, the final boss says. So just bring it.
For me, it's not so much. I don't think they're trying to set the Chiefs up or anything. What I am thinking is they don't necessarily want the three-peat, but they're throwing things in the way of progress. Like, you know, when you're running and you just throw things in people's way just to trip them up a little bit. This is one of those things. And like you said, it is what it is. We got the schedule. We're gonna play it like it is. And we play again the schedule. We play like 3 teams in like 11 days or something like that. It's not gonna be an easy road, no doubt. But anyway, I think it's time we move on to our player comparisons.
Yes, sir. And today, folks, this is just going to be doing 2 segments, and this is going to be our final segment of the show, which I wanted to do for you guys. Now I'm back and just getting into the mode of things. So with our Chiefs rookie pro comparisons, I'm doing this as a way to give fans an idea of what they're going to see this upcoming year, and like an example why we shouldn't go trade for DK Metcalf, and why would somebody want to trade our best defensive player, not named Chris Jones, and Trent McDuffie, that I argued about for the last 2 years before they drafted him and said, we need this guy. Why would you trade him with his rookie deal for a guy who's being already paid almost $20 million a year in DK Metcalf? No, stop it.
I don't know. I don't even know where that came from. Where did that even come from?
Somebody on Twitter, I'm not going to mention by name. And
I heard that.
Kingdom know who I'm talking about.
I heard that and I was like, where did this? And it feels like it's caught wildfire throughout Chiefs Kingdom. And I'm like, you just won a Super Bowl with Rashee Rice and a bunch of randoms. Why do we need DK Metcalf? I know you want to take the top off defenses.
That's what it is. It's like, dude, stop living in the past. Stop trying to be like the Ravens. And it's not, I'm not trying to cut you off. I don't mean to cut you off. Just, oh my gosh, we're not Ravens fans. Oh, getting Patrick Queen or Roquan Smith is just like getting Ray Lewis or Kyle Hamilton reminds us of having Ed Reed. Like, stop. They're players based off of what they could do for your team. Just this is in line with what I'm going to talk about here with this thing about this rookie comparison we're going to do here. So, like, actually, right? It's just it's ridiculous.
I'm not here to poo-poo what they're saying. I understand the concept. I understand the idea behind it. I don't think that's a Brett Veach move. Period.
No.
And if it were, I'd embrace it because there's a plan there. But I don't think that's Brett Veach's.
We did not want to pay Tyreek Hill $30+ million. So what makes us think we want to get DK Metcalf, man? You know what I mean? Is this going to be in line? Yeah.
Out of all the people, you're going to get DK Metcalf. You've already had Tyreek Hill. You already had him. You've been able to keep. I know Tyreek is different there than he is here, than he has been here. However, you're going to go pay more for a worse player? No, you're not. So I don't think that's ever going to happen. But, if for some reason Brett Veach thinks we needed that, like I said, it is what it is there. I will trust the process, but I don't think we need him at this juncture.
No.
But anyway, let's get into these pro comparisons, pro player comparisons. And we're dealing with our recent rookies, which is our 2024 drafted players. So, starting with Xavier Worthy.
Yes, sir. So with this thing here, this is why you guys got to understand this, like why I brought up this argument about DK Metcalf. Like I mentioned earlier about the movie Moneyball, Jonah Hill's character focuses on player analysis, which is my interest as well. And there has been a lack in baseball at that time, if you see in the movie, because it took place around 2001, 2002, 2003 seasons as they were building this team up. And just like today's NFL, everybody think that the goal is to buy the player, like, oh, get DK Metcalf because, him and Mahomes. It's not about buying the player. The ultimate goal is to buy wins. Rather buying runs in the MLB, which is what buying wins in the MLB is about, or players scoring touchdowns, getting sacks, or getting interceptions, or protect the quarterback in the NFL. That's buying wins. So that's what Brett Veach has done with this formula. And now with this comparison to like players like with Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy is an exceptional player in this class, man. His incredible 4.21 speed allows him to score from any position on the field, but what sets him apart is his footwork, and they are highly manipulative. He can easily change a slant into a fade or a 9 route into a stop and make it hard for the cornerback to predict his moves, man. And he's versatile. He could play the slide and the Z position. And as y'all can see, that comparison of DeSean Jackson, as you can see, he's lighter than DeSean Jackson, but he's quicker, he's faster, he jumps higher and more explosive, means he's also stronger than DeSean Jackson, where he's 4 pounds heavier than Worthy. And then just imagine, even with that speed, like he's not gonna, if you add weight on him, he's not gonna slow down. I still think he's gonna have that 4.21 speed, which makes him even scarier. I mean, this is a guy, you could test the defenses vertically and track the deep ball over his shoulder, making him a valuable asset on the team. Last season, Texas used Worthy in the short passing game and taking advantage of his agility and the ability to make defenders miss, just like what Tyreek did and DeSean Jackson did in Andy Reid's scheme. They both had the excellent vision and even the body control when making those catches. And Worthy could take advantage of space and also make exciting plays if he finds space. Just like when you see DeSean Jackson, that miracle at the Meadowlands play where he juked those defenders. That's what I see in Worthy. And I still see him be like a 600-yard receiver this upcoming year, but he's going to do most of his damage in the return game. And I think he has the ability to be on the all-pro team this upcoming year and make his first Pro Bowl as a return specialist in his rookie year. And he can make a significant impact by putting the offense in the best position possible and then also getting them acclimated on plays on the offense. So that's what I see in Worthy. And it's like seeing DeSean Jackson with 4.21 speed. And the Chiefs Kingdom should be excited, especially when you put him with him and Brown, Marquise Hollywood Brown, with that deep passing video out there. So fans should be excited about that.
Personally, I do. The idea of Xavier Worthy, I think Xavier Worthy's best worth will come next season. Let's get that out the way from me. I think that once there is no more Hollywood Brown, I think that's where you're going to see him do his best work because it's going to be relied on more. But this season, let's get the offense down. Acclimate yourself.
Right.
Figure it out. Know the lay of the land. I will give you time to grow into your position. And that's what Andy Reid does, because it's tough to learn an offense from Andy Reid. Or let's put it like this. I don't want to say it's tough to learn an offense from Andy Reid. I want to say it's not easy. It doesn't necessarily mean it's tough, but it's definitely not easy. And so giving a rookie time to acclimate themselves is the best bet for them and their development moving forward. Taking them too fast could possibly make them miss things in second year that they should have known in the first year. I think McCole was a victim of that. Sometimes I do think McCole was a victim of that, thinking that, hey, we need to use his speed as soon as possible. And granted, he did get, he was a 700-yard receiver, but who knows what he could have been had we brought him along on the slow burn, if you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. So I think this offers him the opportunity to be able to just grow into his position. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
So for
our next guy, there is Kingsley Sumiata, who has played over 1,300 offensive snaps in 2 seasons, and he's known for his nimble footwork and his strength, which makes him a successful pass protector. And as you guys can see there, that Penei Sewell comparison, when you put his numbers up to him, he's faster, he's quicker, and he's more explosive and a bit stronger than his actual cousin, Penei Sewell. And he's been one of his major influences. But when you read Dane Brugler of the Athletics profile analysis on Sumiata, he mentions that he likes to mash defenders in confined spaces and delivers more pancakes than Denny's or IHOP. So last season, he had showed off his impressive pass blocking skills and 742 snaps at left tackle. He only allowed 2 sacks while allowing none at the right side in 2022. And he has an excellent punching ability due to his large hands. He almost has 11-inch size hands, man. And, those 34-inch arms, an inch longer than Penei Sewell, which makes him intriguing to be that left tackle because Penei Sewell showed you he's versatile. They could play the left and the right. He's mainly a right tackle, but Penei Sewell showed he could be a great left tackle as well. But when his cousin has an inch longer width span than him, and he has that opportunity. I think with Andy Hecker, offensive line coach, he has potential to refine his talent this upcoming year, and he has the experience of playing both the left and the right tackle position at BYU, Andy Reid's alma mater. And I think, especially now after this Wanya thing happened, he's probably going to be the day one starter at left tackle, complementing the team's offensive line, especially on the left side with Joe Thuney going next to Creed Humphrey. And with his size and strength, it will be a smooth transition from the pass players off the left side, like Wanya last season and Donovan Smith, and even what we got from Orlando Brown and Eric Fisher. So I'm excited about this move. What you think in the comparison?
I do agree with you, no doubt. And I was when I tell you, I was a huge fan of Penei Sewell when he got drafted. Right. I was a huge fan. And Penei just got, I think he just got a contract extension. So contract extension this offseason. So Penei Sewell was like the number one move, the first move to get the Detroit Lions into prominence again, aside from, Jared Goff,
Jahmyr Gibbs.
But
St. Brown.
We're talking about a guy who you don't think of him as flashy because it's an offensive line pick. So you make sure that you protect your biggest asset, because they also recently paid Jared Goff. Who is he protecting? He's protecting Jared Goff. So I think this is a great comparison, and I can't wait to see him on the field and see what happens on the field. So I'm really looking forward to this guy more than anybody. Worthy, I don't think will be unless he's pushed into it. I don't think he'll be a huge factor this year, but I think Kingsley Suamataia will be a force this year. And please understand, there will be his rookie trials. They're going to send him through the paces, but because he's going to be a rookie and he's going to be going up against guys like Max Crosby. He's going to be going up against
Lil Mack and Joey Bosa.
He's going to be going up against all these guys. So you got to understand, he's going to slip up a time or two. And it does stink that it's in this season where we're trying to go for a three-peat. However, the best way to come in, the best way for me to be coming out of the fire is to just be introduced to it. Like Bane said, you trained in darkness. I was born into darkness. You know what I mean? So
I was born in it, molded by it.
Yes. So just get in there. Just get in there and let it do what it does with you. You figure it out. So that's how I feel about that.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to our next one.
All right. So I speak a lot about Jared Wiley recently, ever since he got drafted by the Chiefs in the 4th round, and there's a lot in common with the latter than other players such as Kelsey or the Jimmy Grahams or the Rob Gronkowskis. And Wiley to me is similar in size to like what Gronkowski does, but he's faster. And he jumps higher in terms of those 50-50 balls. You remember Super Bowl 47? We all know Gronk was hurt in going into that game against the Giants, but remember that ball that Brady threw that almost got caught in the end zone? Gronk was in distance where he could have caught it. I still feel like if it was Jared Wiley on that play, Wiley would have caught that than Gronk because Wiley has high level of athleticism compared to Gronk with a 37-inch vertical. Gronk only jumped 33 and a half. But they both have the same explosiveness because Jared Wiley has like a 9'10" broad jump. Gronk was like 9'11", but it's basically the same explosiveness. But like Kelsey, Wiley has a lot more characteristics of a wide receiver than a tight end, which means that both tight ends can play out wide, making it difficult for most safeties and linebackers to handle them. So, the former Horn Frog knows how to box out defenders and use his body to secure the catch, and also has a habit of trying to leap over defenders. And his arrival will benefit Kelsey by providing the team with a tight end that could be used as a deep threat as well. Wiley can stretch the field, causing fear in the defenses. As a result, you'll basically have like two safeties will stay back to guard against also the guys like Worthy and Hollywood Brown, ensuring that they don't score an 80-yard touchdown on them, especially if you bring Wiley deep. That will create a void over the middle where I think Kelsey will continue to feast and take advantage of. So I love that mindset. So I hope to see a great tight end, two tight end set with these guys. And then you also have Noah Gray and then also Irv Smith Jr. if they keep him around, which I hope so. You got a very good tight end group here too. And that's what I like about Wiley. I think Wiley could be that red zone target as well, probably better than we got from Jody Fortson, especially if Jody stayed healthy and been more consistent being on the field. I feel like that's what you're going to get from Wiley, but a lot better, especially to complement Kelsey.
At first, I was thinking that Wiley would be. I thought we were going to go more heavy sets as far as like 11, 12 personnel. But with the acquisition of Hollywood Brown, I think that I believe that it'll be more of situational. And I'm hoping, here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that the situational can happen more often than not. Like, when I say that, I mean being able to get these I almost said Rob Gronkowski, getting these Travis Kelce's, getting these Noah Grays, getting these Jared Wileys, getting these Irv Smiths on the field at the same time. Like, I'm here for that. I know they want to push the ball downfield, and that's Patrick Mahomes. He said they've been working on getting the ball pushed down the field. But how do you counteract those deep safeties? 12 personnel, 11 personnel, guys that can catch the ball and create separation in space, or at least move the chains. While they're back, you just deal with the intermediate and figure it out from there. And then when they start cheating upwards, over the top, if you understand what I'm saying. So I'm hoping that what I think is going to happen happens. And they do that. But if they don't, it is what it is. But they've got a lot of big guys that can catch the ball. And Noah Gray has been growing gradually as he's been on the field. So I look forward to seeing what they're going to do with Jared Wiley, because that dude, I see what they I see what they see in him. He's a bit tall for my liking. He's a bit tall. Like, dude's a tower. Okay. But I guess I don't know. Yeah, I was about to say, I think I was gonna say Cole Kmet, but I think Cole Kmet, it might be a few inches shorter, but shorter than 6'6". But I do love it. I do love it. And the wingspan, it gives him even more catch radius than a normal person would have. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. I hope I see more 12 personnel. I really do.
Same here, man.
Let's move on to the next one.
All right. And this pick, oh my gosh, man. When we made this pick, I was shocked because this is one of the top safeties from this draft class. And, the Chiefs' successful performance has largely been credited to the effectiveness of Steve Spagnuolo's defense, and the team has recently added more talented defensive back depth, which has made this secondary even stronger. And Washington State's Jaden Hicks reminds me of Vikings veteran safety Harrison Smith, with his versatility to play over the defense and make any coverage shell work. Football teams now use a defensive back as like a dime backer to improve coverage skills without sacrificing other areas of the game. This player must have coverage skills, tackle the ball carriers, and have the ability to be a pass rusher on the blitz. And I feel like that's what Hicks is going to do into year one. But I think he has one thing over Justin Reed, which is the ability to cover very well and do it consistently. And his range is crazy. Like, he plays like one of those 5'10" Earl Thomas like and Ed Reed like rangy safeties, but he's 6'1", 6'2", and it's crazy, man. And he can blitz, and he can tackle around the line of scrimmage. And also, he was teammates with Jalen Watson at Washington State. So now they're reunited, and then now I feel like they can play off of each other. You add him to the secondary room, and I love the Jaden Hicks pickup, bro. I feel like the Chiefs have a very talented safety room, especially when Mike Edwards was gone, and now Brian Cook is coming back, and you also got Shamari Connor with Reed. We're not getting rid of Reed, anybody. I just believe that we got a very talented group, and also we got Deion Bush back, who made a big impact in the AFC Championship game, also helping us get into the Super Bowl. So I like the Hicks pickup, and I see some Harrison Smith in this game, especially what he could do in zone coverage and also play both the safety and the box. Or, I mean, the single high roll and then in the box as the safety.
Personally, there's two when it comes to drafting and player evaluation. I tend to lean to I tend to go straight to two positions, one on defense, one on offense. Offense is normally tight ends, and defense is normally safeties. And as I look at Hicks, I like the idea. I like how fast he is, especially in short distances, to where he can recognize a run or pass, and then he can just go get it. Okay, he can just do whatever needs to be done, and I like him for that. And I want to see, because the thing about it is, with Reed still being here, I think he has one more year on his contract. With Reed still being here, having that extra year, and you never know, they might extend him. That's a different subject for a different show. But with him, Shamari Connor, and the kid coming back from injury, you know who I'm talking about.
Brian Cook.
Brian Cook. I'm sorry. I remember the first name. I couldn't remember his last name for a second there. But Brian Cook, having him back, I think being able to have bodies at the safety position helps you fit. You already know who your starter is, but being able to have those bodies as your last, because the safety is your last line of defense. The safety is your last line of defense. And so being able to have guys to learn from Justin Reed and being able to pick his brain and be able to move, see what he sees, and him being able to mentor them is a good thing, because whether we re-sign Reed or not, you got guys that can fill the role.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, that safety is going to be crucial, because you never know, especially with our boy being gone to the Tennessee Titans now. You're definitely going to need somebody to help your Joshua Williamses, your other guys on the number 2,
Jalen
Watsons. They're gonna need a little help at first. This is their really first time being full-time starters, so you're definitely gonna be needing some help there. And having guys learn from Justin Reed, I'm all for it. I'm always here for having a veteran mentorship style situation.
Yeah.
Let's move on
And
to the next. Oh, let's move on to the
yeah,
next
let's do it. So I actually like this pickup right here too. From this draft class too, the Chiefs found a potential replacement for Nick Algoretti and Hunter Norzad, an interior offensive lineman from Penn State, selected in the 5th round. He transferred from Cornell to Penn State, which he successfully transitioned to the interior line. His playing style resembles Marquise Pouncey, the former All-Pro interior lineman who played for the Steelers, bro. I mean, Norzad excels at moving defenders and reacting quickly off the snap. He stays low. He engages with defenders, making it easy to hold his ground during the passing downs. He's also skilled at reading the defense and making calls at the line of scrimmage. I mean, a versatile player. He played offensive tackle, even being at 6'3", moving to the interior later when he went to Penn State. Has the ability to play both center and guard. He has starter potential, man, but I think which makes him a valuable asset. He's more like an upgrade from Algoretti, but he's still going to play that role because you still got Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, and speaking of those two, they're going into contract years. But also there's Joe Tooney as well, and you still got the decision about him going into 2025 after this season concludes. But I like the Norzad pickup as well. It kind of reminds me like a 5th round Marquise Pouncey. Both put up 27 reps in 225 at the bench press. As you see, Norzad has longer arms and a little heavier than Pouncey. So I like this pickup and what Brett Beach saw on tape, and that's what I think I see. What you think?
Personally, I look at Norzad as a guy who's probably going to be Allegretti, your swing guy who, your Swiss Army knife, really.
Yeah,
But here's the thing with the with the contract situation for next season,
right.
there's a possibility he earns a job, a starting position.
Yeah,
There's a legit possibility. I don't think they'll opt unless something crazy happens. I don't think they'll opt for to keep Trey Smith over Creed.
right. Yeah.
I don't think that'll happen. However, you never know. And
If you
if you
cut
got a
Joe Tooney, if you cut Joe Tooney in 2025, you still get back $16 million.
and you never know what happens there.
And then
And
also
so,
Nick Bolton is in a contract year too.
and you could put him in that position, or you can get rid of Trey Smith and put him in that position. I don't know exactly what they'll do because we have a whole season worth of stuff to figure it out.
Mhm.
Anything can happen this season as far as their all of these players' development. So this is insurance for the future. That's what this is.
Mhm.
Period. Allegretti was here and he was that swing anything for a long time. He played anywhere. Anywhere you needed him, he will play there. And now we need to replace that. And so we got a guy here in Norzad that can do that.
Yeah.
So let's go to the last one.
Yes, sir. And this one, I actually was impressed by this pickup, but we found this pick in the 6th round, and he could be the defensive version of the Trey Smith pickup on defense, where they found him in the 6th round, and also from the University of Tennessee. Kamal Hatton was one of the top cornerbacks in the FBS last season until he sustained a shoulder injury that ended his time at Tennessee. Last season, he allowed just a 7 passer rating allowed, dude. That's freaking elite corner status. And despite missing 4 games in the last 2 seasons, Hatton had the most interceptions for the Volunteers from that time period. And last season, he had 11 passes defense and 3 picks, including the pick 6. He has excellent size, length, athleticism for a corner. While his durability is in question, he has a strong NFL mentality and is always around the ball, making him a ball hawk like Marcus Peters. And as you saw in the comparison, both have the same 5'3", 40 time. Marcus might have a little bigger arms, but you could tell that Hatton has basically the same amount of arm length as Marcus Peters, but Marcus jumps a little higher, but he's more explosive than Marcus Peters. And when you watch the tape, Hatton appears comfortable in press man coverage and smoother in his quarter turns. He will need to work on turning his head rather than waiting for the receiver to give clues and try to rip the ball out, because Marcus is always about trying to rip the ball out, and Marcus sometimes gave up some yardage, but he was still a ball hawk. But given the skills and mentality, Hatton has the potential to become a valuable asset to our secondary. He probably will challenge Watson and Williams for that number 2 corner spot, especially when McDuffie going to the outside and Shamari going to the slot, even though he's a safety. And he's heading into his first training camp, and he has the chance to be the other starting cornerback alongside All-Pro McDuffie. However, he faces that minor competition with Watson, Williams, Nick Jones, Iko Boydo, and Najee Johnson. And I did this based off my projections. I took the formula like some of what Jonah Hill did in his formula. So I took the total snaps that he played at Tennessee in the regular season. And then I took like the other stats, like the total interceptions, those passes defense that I talked about. And then I found a formula where then I multiply by like the average. Let's say the average Chiefs cornerback 3 plays 500 snaps a year. And then the number 2 will play about 800, almost 900 snaps a year. So let's just say 500 snaps is basically 40% of the defensive snaps, of the team's defensive snaps. If he played about 40% of those snaps, I project that he could finish with 3 interceptions and like 5 pass deflections, which is those passes defense. Well, I'm going to call them pass deflections, just knocking the ball, getting your hands all over the ball, and having 36 solo tackles. That would still show that the Chiefs got a real good gem even in that short amount of snaps. But if he played about 70% of the team's defensive snaps, he could have even better rookie season. 55 solo tackles, 4 picks, and 7 pass deflections. We might get a pick 6 out of Hatton soon. And for him to be that type of player in the 6th round, the Chiefs have found these gems, and these are those type of money ball players. Instead of paying like $20 million for a cornerback or like a Stephon Gilmore, you're finding guys who replace that production for less. And I feel like this is one of those picks with Hatton that I like about him. He has a Marcus Peters game and I like. So what you think about that?
I love the idea that we got a guy that I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. I think that Kamal Hatton places a high value on taking the ball away. Okay. Which is why when you sent me these comparisons, I was shocked to see that you compared him to Marcus Peters. The only difference is I think Marcus Peters put too high of a priority on taking the ball away. So much so that it kind of got in the way of his regular duties here as a Chief sometimes. Yeah. And it is what it is. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad, but I think from what I saw of his game that he doesn't put the defensive play in jeopardy to intercept the ball. And I like the idea of that. He puts himself in an opportunity and tries to take advantage of that opportunity. And when he's in there for the dime and the nickel and stuff like that early on in his career, which if he shows promise during training camp, he could start almost as soon as possible. You never know. You'd never know because Brian Cook, that injury, he should be back, but you never know.
You never know.
So I feel he might have an opportunity this season. I really do early on, and he might get phased out towards the later round, but this would be his first year. So I'm interested to see how he plays in the pro scheme with guys like Justin Reed and so forth and so on, with more sure NFL veterans. And will that allow him the opportunity to play freely like he wants to go for the ball? Or will they make him play more disciplined football to make sure he's in the position to make the play as far as making a tackle or making a bat down or whatever, as opposed to making the interception? I'm interested to see how that goes.
I think he's like that guy that's going to be like if he can't get the interception, he's going to get the ball to where his teammates like McDuffie or Reed or Hicks or let's say Cook or Connor gets their hands on the ball or Watson. So you can still have McDuffie play a little bit in the slot, but I mean, we want to have McDuffie on the outside. You're going to have your best guys on the out there because Shamari Connor to me is a legit slot guy, and he was flawless in the slot. He didn't even allow a touchdown.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to Shamari Connor now. Let's get that straight. But that ends our pro comparisons for our 2024 rookie class. And we look forward to seeing how these guys will go for this, or how these guys will fit into this 3P. Because I really do. I want this 3P bad. I'm sorry, I do.
Same here, bro.
And so we look forward to seeing how what they'll bring to the table and how they'll bring it. So any this pretty much ends the show, but you got any parting thoughts?
No, but I'm just happy to be back, and we're going to continue to bring the show out to you guys. Plan on bringing the guests on my next episode, but we're going to get that going, and we'll put it out there for you guys. We're going to take our time and everything, and just getting back in the groove of things. I'm glad to be back, and that's it. Happy Red Friday, everybody, and enjoy today, and also enjoy the weekend. Stay safe, and don't do anything crazy out there. Don't pull a Rashee Rice, but nothing against Rashee or anything else like that. Everybody, please be smart and please, just be safe out there, y'all. That's it.
As this is the Memorial Day weekend, just take this time to remember, our fallen soldiers. Remember some people that were good to you in your life. This is the time to do it. This is a designated time to do it. And hope everyone has a great Memorial Day weekend. And for PMAC, for myself, and for Chiefs Focus, we are out. Deuces.